Hey, welcome back to YouTube Near Me Not to Hear Me on Vibe AZ 24/7. I am so glad that you guys have hung out for me during this time. This is part four of schools in session. Talk to students, talk to teachers, talk to administrators and parents. You are my last and final one on this episode of YouTube Near Me Not to Hear Me on Vibe AZ 24/7. And you'll also check it out on YouTube at the same title, YouTube Near Me Not to Hear Me. Now, parents, let me lay some love and some cherishing moments to you. I get it. You have had children, and whether or not your own personal experience of growing up as a child has affected the way that you know, raise your children, whether or not this is what happened to me or this is what is not going to happen to my child because it happened to me, whatever the case may be, realize that there's a couple of things that I need you to understand. One, the words of encouragement or discouragement that you say to your child truly affect their lives. Psychologists will all say that when they get ready to start to have a conversation with a patient, they refer back to how they were raised, how that patient was raised, and what was their relationship with their parents. Because the words and the way that you express yourselves to your children really do make a huge impact in their life. If you're sitting here and they're listening to what I'm saying, think about your relationship with your own parents and the words that they and the way that they chose to interact with you and how it affected you positively or negatively. And then how that carried on in relationships that you had, carried on in maybe in amorous relationships, whether or not in relationships as friends, with other family members, all in the way that they interacted with you. What you say and how you interact with your child does truly affect them. With that being the case, I understand that it's not easy. I get it. Let me say it to you from this point of view. I, as an educator, teacher, administrator, my first and foremost care and thought is about, listen to me say this clearly, my children, whether they be old or young. I'm in concern and of service of my children, which means that I have to be truly careful about the words and the way that I express myself to them. Even if I think that I'm joking and they think, and I believe they understand the joke, Lord knows I got to be extremely careful because it could be something that I think is a joke, but they're, as a young person, whether old, young, doesn't make a difference. That person may not be taking it as a joke because they may have heard that from home, from a parent, grandparent, whoever's in care of that child, and it wasn't said in a very nice manner. It wasn't expressed in a very nice manner. And so if I duplicate what's been said at home in that negative manner, now I'm going to be compounding the impact of that on that child's life. I, I just need you to hear me clearly when I say that. And I don't need you to get in your bag and get sensitive. I just need you to pay attention to what I'm saying because I need you to pay attention to what you are saying. Everything that you do is, yes, it's in care of that child because you brought them into this world. Whether or not you meant to bring them in this world, if it was planned or not planned, they here, they're yours. All right. And no matter what happened in your own personal relationship with your parent or whoever raised you or didn't raise you, you got to look at this completely different because of the way that you communicate with that child. It's going to literally lay an imprint, a fingerprint, a stain for the rest of their life. Your words matter because you always want to be heard, right? As a parent. Did you hear what I said? Right? That kind of thing. So imagine that being repeated to the child in the classroom or somewhere else. And it's compounded and compounded. And I'm talking about when it's a negative thing. I want you to really be cognizant of that because that relationship that you have with your child is the most precious thing in the world. It's not the stuff that you give them. It's not the shoes on their feet. It's not the Jordans and the North Face jackets and everything else and the Gucci and Coach bags and this camp and that camp and the car, the computer or the devices, the phones and all this other stuff. None of that crap matters. None of it does. It's honestly the words and the relationship that you have with your child. They got to know that you love them. I know you love them, but they got to feel that too. And yes, they're going to be, the terrible twos and threes and the middle schoolers who thinking they too grown and they don't stink, and the high school who don't want to hug you anymore and all that. It doesn't matter. It's okay. Love them anyway. Be careful of the words that you express to them. Be careful of the emotions and the way that you react. Think about it. Think about your own relationship with your own parents and adults. Why duplicate the hurt and the pain? I'm going to say this, and I want you to hear me clearly. Hurt people hurt people. If you hurt and you hurt someone else because you were hurt, you're just perpetuating the same problems and issues. And ain't nothing going to get better from it. The one thing I will say is, like, I wanted to tell teachers and students and administrators, and now I'm telling you parents and those who are listening to all four parts of this, forgive yourself for the mistakes that you made. Just try not to make them again. Forgive yourself. It's one of the things that I had to do in helping me to become a better educator and a person that cares for people. I had to forgive myself for the thoughts that I had and forgive myself for sometimes the words that I use immediately. And I'm not talking about saying it facetiously. Let me apologize first before I say this. You really get on my, no, 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 no. I'm literally telling you to apologize to yourself and don't say it. Choose your words wisely. Use some silence if it's necessary. You know what your parents tell you? If you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say what? Don't say nothing at all. You too near me not to hear what I'm saying. And what I'm saying isn't anything brand new. It's nothing rocket science behind it, but I think sometimes we forget about it because of all the other things that are going on. So, parent, I applaud you. I'm not getting on you at all. I recognize how difficult it is to raise a child and that it is a community that raises the child. But you are the center and the focus, and your words matter. The way that you talk about other individuals, family members, teachers, administrators, the kids' parents, other kids' parents, and the other kids, everything that you say is recorded in those kids' ears, minds, eyes. And they either understand what you're trying to say or they will use it as the weapon to go and attack those other people too. Because they're going to think, well, if my mom and daddy say it, and my grandma and grandma say it, if I say it, then I can say it too. Okay, let me know how that works out. You're getting tired of getting called to the office, and then all of a sudden you hear somebody from across the desk say, well, they said they got it from you. Whoo, you too near me not to hear me. Think about it. Think about it. Listen, I applaud you for doing the job that you do. We all know how difficult it is to raise a young person in this day and age. But at the same time, you've got to be careful of the words that you use. Let them feel the love more than anything else. even when they are frustrating the hell out of you. Choose your words wisely. Show them the love first before you show them any venom at all. And then apologize for that venom. Help them to understand where it's coming from and why it's coming from. And be honest about even your own relationships so they can understand that their grandmother and grandfather weren't perfect either. And those who are grandparents, they had parents that are the same way. We got to understand how to stop the perpetual ignorance, do something a little bit different. But parents, that's what I wanted to share with you. I had some other thoughts about, understanding that your kid in the seventh grade is getting ready. That's the grades that they have that goes to high schools. And, you should look at options of schools that they go to and give your child the best, opportunities to connect with adults who are in careers that they may want to follow. Just have other adults around say the same thing you're saying, but they hear from a different source. So they're not going to simply keep feeling like they're rejecting the things that you're telling them. They hear from other folks and they're going to say, oh, my dad and mom said, they're going, duh. Yeah, you're right. But I, what, what touched me more than anything and talking and really wanted to share this with you is that the words that we say to our young people, and it starts from the home. And then when they come to school, I want to say it to teachers. I have said it to teachers and administrators. Be careful the words that you use. Careful the way that you interact with a child. You don't know what has happened at home. And I'm speaking to the person who's at home with them. So with that being the case, forgive me if it came off a little wrong or rough, but I love you as a parent because I need you in a part of this thing that we call educating young people. And whether they be old or young, you as the parent is the person who's giving protecting and the knowledge of that. You're the first piece of knowledge. I just had to have you understand, just be careful of things that you say. Now, with that being said, I appreciate you guys for listening in on YouTube and not to hear me on Vibe AZ 24/7. You can always check us out. And if you want to see the videos, please go to the YouTube channel of the same title of YouTooNearMeNotToHearMe. I appreciate you. Come back next week and we'll have something great for you to be entertained and listen to and to go film. I appreciate you. This is your man, Dan. Have a good one.